we constantly talk about money in politics and how corporations are not in fact people and they shouldn't have the same rights as we do. And one anti-corporate warrior is 56-year-old Jonathan Freeman, who was driving in the carpool lane when he was by himself. When he got pulled over, he basically told the cop, "I'm not alone, I'm actually with a person." Then he proceeded to pick up papers that indicated his business was incorporated. And he said, "See, this indicates that I'm traveling with a corporation. Corporations are people, so therefore I shouldn't get this ticket."
I love this guy. I think that's the most ingenious argument ever made. And then what's weird is that it turns out when they want to get all the different breaks and they want to buy our politicians, they are people. But when you're in a high occupancy vehicle lane, turns out they rule that they are not people. Well, isn't that convenient? So when it is to the advantage of an actual human being, sorry, but corporations are not people. When it is to our great disadvantage, sorry, corporations are people.
Yeah. I love his quote. It's great. He says, "The question of personhood is a very poignant one. This is designed to bring a very strong point to bear upon the legal system. Corporations have grown into large, huge, fictional entities. Now I am taking their power and using it in order to drive in the carpool."
Well, Romney should agree with him. All the Republicans should be springing to his defense.
Yes. In fact, Romney said,
Corporations are people, my friend. We can raise taxes on... Of course they are. Human beings, my friend.
Human beings. Okay. So, I mean, think about this, right? First of all, I would have played that tape over and over in my trial. I would have been like, look, corporations are people, my friend. I mean, that's a guy running for president, got 47% of the vote. 47% of the country apparently agrees. Corporations are people, my friend. Actually, of course, his voters don't even agree to that, right? But if you don't know the history of it, do you know that the Supreme Court actually never ruled that corporations were people? It was back in the 1800s, and a Supreme Court clerk added a head note, not into actual opinion, after the case was over. Well after the case was over.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 years after the case was over.
how is that even possible?
It was a case about the railroads.
Right,
You know,
yes.
that Supreme Court clerk used to be the head of one of the railroads. I mean, think about that. You were head of one of the railroads, and you quit to become a Supreme Court clerk, okay? Wow. And then you happen to add a head note. And this is all fact, verified by all the constitutional law professors in the country, okay? You happen to put a head note in there that says, oh yeah, that railroad case, corporations are people, my friend. Okay, that's how this whole thing gets started.
If that's common knowledge, why hasn't that been corrected?
Because, you know why? Then other courts made the mistake of ruling based on that decision, and then it became precedent.
So you just continue to make the same mistake over and over again? America!
America, we're number one! So other courts, well, they don't cite that case, or if they do, they're like, oh, whatever. Okay, but they cite the cases afterwards, and they're like, well, the other courts backed it up anyway. So, and then it got worse and worse. First, corporations were people. Then they were allowed to spend. Then they had First Amendment rights, and they had a right to free speech. And then free speech meant money. So then they had a right to spend money on politics. And then Citizens United said they have a right to spend unlimited money directly to politicians. Okay, so that's how we lost our democracy. But anytime it actually helps a human being, and he puts it in the high occupancy vehicle, no. Corporations are people only when it helps corporations, not when it helps actual people.
It's unbelievable. But I love the fact that we have someone who's fighting against it and trying to prove and demonstrate how absurd it is.
Yeah. And you know, you see all these science fiction movies where the robots take over. Right? We create the robots, and then the robots take over.
But the robots are the corporations.
They are. It's happened. Corporations are legal robots. They do not have any morality whatsoever. They have no emotion. They have no soul. They have only one mission. Like you would give a program a robot with a mission. And their mission is to make the maximum amount of profit. If that is your mission, what will you do? Will you donate to politicians to twist the laws to your advantage? Well, of course you will.
Right.
Would you donate to politicians to set the laws so that you don't have competition? Of course you will.
There's an easy answer to this, okay? You get rid of the politicians' power, right? You get rid of all regulations, and you allow the people to decide, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you just depend on the market working itself out. Corporations will do the right thing on their own.
Oh, is that right?
That's how it
I didn't know that. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that in a couple of centuries.
Yeah.
Turns out corporations don't give a shit about what's right. What they care about is the bottom line.